We're going to show you how easy it is to add a tune, then a cold air intake, and then splash in some E85 in on an otherwise stock Mustang, and let's show you what the difference is. All right, so we're gonna go over a lot of things in this video, so make sure you look below at the timestamp. So if you wanna skip to a certain section, like when we install the cold air kit versus when we do the tune, maybe when we do E85, you can see that below. But first and foremost, we're gonna talk about tunes and what is a custom Steeda tune for your vehicle. Well, the SCT tuner comes with pre-loaded tunes. So what that means is you're gonna plug it into your vehicle. It's gonna recognize your vehicle. It's gonna tell you the VIN number and things like that. It's gonna have a couple pre-saved tunes in there. Now those are kind of just run-of-the-mill tunes. It's kind of like a one-size-fits-all. They're gonna have a little bit more timing, maybe a little bit better throttle response. It's gonna be very safe, very conservative. The beauty of it is not only does it make more horsepower, but you're gonna use less fuel too, which means you're not only gonna get a gain in performance, but you're gonna be saving money every time you go to the pump as well, which is an absolute no-brainer. Now that goes for Mustangs, Fusions, F-150s, even F-250s. I've got one on mine. I picked up almost 4 miles per gallon by going with an SCT tune. And that's just your run-of-the-mill. But for those wanting more, we offer you the Steeda custom tunes. Well, what is that? If I get a tune with this, why do I need a custom tune? Well, it's exactly that. It's a custom tune. You'll see we have a tune order guide. It's gonna allow you to select what kind of modifications you have to your vehicle. Maybe you've got a cold air intake. Maybe you've got high flow exhaust, different diameter wheels and tires, maybe a different gear ratio, or maybe a looser torque converter. These are all things that we take into consideration when we develop our Steeda custom tune. Now that's gonna be different than the out-of-the-box tune. We're gonna be looking at the exact mods that you have on your car, look through our database, what works, what kind of improvements we can make to take it to another level. So you're looking at a little bit more timing, a little bit better throttle response. We're gonna look at all those variables that you've added to your car, and we're gonna design a tune that's custom built just for you. Now, that's kind of in the middle, right? You could also do a custom dyno tune. Now that's actually strapping the car to the rollers, loading in a base tune file. Then you're gonna do some wide open pulls. We're gonna come back, we're gonna look at the data and tweak it from there. That's gonna be the most performance possible. But depending on your application, you may only be talking about a couple horsepower. Let's say you got aftermarket camshafts on your car. That'd be a good time to do a custom dyno tune, right? Where you could really manipulate and move those cam profiles around to try to get the most horsepower out of your car. So that's a full-blown custom tune specifically for your vehicle. But now the Steeda custom tunes, it comes from the same database, right? We've dyno tuned thousands of cars over the years, and we have logs of all those files, what made them happy, what made the most horsepower, but it's taken those specific mods that you've decided to put on your car and trying to maximize and get the most performance out of that tune. That's the beauty of our Steeda custom tunes. They're tried and true, and like I said, it's not gonna be on the ragged edge. You don't have to worry about detonation, but it's going to offer you more performance than your typical out-of-box SCT can tune. But if you do have the device, obviously, then you can always go to one of those can-tuned options as well. But our Steeda custom tunes are gonna provide you with the next level of performance. The one thing to keep in mind is all of our Steeda custom tunes do not defeat any emissions equipment whatsoever. So if you do have long tube headers and you use your car for off-road use, unfortunately that check engine light is going to be on because we do not mess with any of the emissions equipment on your vehicle. Unfortunately, if you live in California, tuning devices like these are prohibited, so unfortunately you can't get all those horsepower gains that the rest of us can see around the United States. Now the other beauty of these tuners, right, you can actually plug this in and it's got a code scanner to troubleshoot any codes you might have. So you simply plug it in, you go to the correct menu, and you can see exactly what code your car has. You can even turn off the code as well to get rid of that check engine light. Say maybe a air intake temperature sensor, right? Triggering, throwing the check engine light. You go ahead, pick it up at your auto parts store, change that. Now you plug back in your tuner and you're able to clear that code. So we could actually be married to one vehicle, right? Because the tuner is only going to tune one vehicle. But you could still use it as a diagnostics tool for all the other cars that you have at your home. So like I said, it really does pay for itself. Now this is the SCT X4. We also offer online the BDX. What's the difference between the two? Well, the SCT is going to plug directly into your vehicle. Let's say you're out in the country, you don't have Wi-Fi, you're going to want the SCT. Now the BDX works over Wi-Fi, so you're going to have a Wi-Fi signal for not only the BDX, but also for your car. But if it's something where you like to display it up on your dash, the BDX does look nicer, but they both have the same functions. We actually do lean towards the X4 because with it plugging directly in, you don't have to worry about that Wi-Fi connection, but both are really good products that are going to give you exactly what you're looking for. So you might be asking yourself, well, why do I need a tuner? Why can't I just buy the cold air kit and throw it on your car? Well, there are cold air kits on the market that do not require a tune. And the reason why is they don't actually increase the size of the mass air meter. So the meter is the same size as stock. They're just adding a fancy box and a high flow air filter, maybe even the tube to the throttle body. But when you're doing that, and it's the same size mass air meter, the only additional airflow you're getting is from the air filter itself, right? Maybe the tube's a little bit smoother, but if you really want to make horsepower, and we've done this on all of the cars since 2005, we're going to increase the size of the mass air meter. You could actually add a cold air kit with a larger mass air meter, not tune your car, and actually hurt or blow up your motor. It's crazy. Some of these newer cars, they don't have the adaptive strategy to learn like the older generation cars. But even back in the days with the Fox bodies, if you bought a larger mass air meter, it needed to be calibrated to your fuel injector size. Once again, it wasn't done with any crazy tuning. It was done at the mass air meter with a changed signal going to your computer, calibrated for those specific injectors. So keep in mind, if you want to add a cold air kit and you want to make power, you got to go to a larger mass air meter, and that's when you need the tuner, because that's going to take advantage of all the things you've changed to really maximize your performance. So let's touch real quickly on how do you get your Steeda custom tune. Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to purchase the tuner and request a custom tune. Now, we can't just send it to you with all your modifications on your car. Why? Because this tuner has a specific serial number on the back. Once you get your tuner from Steeda, you're going to plug it into your vehicle. It's then going to pull the strategy code off of your vehicle. Once we have that information, you could fill out your tune form, all the modifications, exhaust, change of gear ratio, cold air intake, things like that. Now we'll be able to develop that custom tune just for you. The first step is to find the OBD2 port on the interior of your vehicle. Use the included cable to connect the device to the vehicle. The device should turn on automatically once it's plugged in. If not, check for any blown fuses for the OBD2 port. Navigate to Vehicle Info to get the strategy code. Power on the vehicle, but do not start the engine. Then you can hit Continue on the device. You'll want to go ahead and take a picture of the screen or write down this information. We're going to be using the ECU SWPN number for this specific vehicle. After you get that code, you can now turn the vehicle off. To fill out the tune form, go ahead and visit Steeda.com and scroll all the way to the bottom to Tune Build Form. Enter your information as follows. This is how we get the tune to you, so make sure the information is correct. Your order number can be found in the email for your order confirmation. The vehicle information can be selected on the second page. Now make sure you have that picture handy that you took from your tuning device because you're going to need it now. Now you'll be prompted to enter the ECU SWPN number and tuning device information here. Now locate your serial number. It can either be found on the back of the device or within the device under Device Info. Go ahead and enter the number and double check to make sure everything is accurate. Here, you can decide the 2 fuel options you'd like. Keep in mind, if you choose Premium, you will not be able to use 87 octane anymore. If you want to retain this option, then select 87 for the first option. If you purchase an E85 tune, select that here as well. Now your induction information can be inputted. As you can see, we have options for Steeda intakes, as well as the JLT and the Roush. If you have an upgraded throttle body, make that selection as well. Headers are accounted for, but again, we do not change any emission control systems with our tunes. If you've changed your rear gears or the overall wheel and tire size, we can adapt your speedometer so it reads correctly. But if you have a stock gear ratio, you do not need to fill in these notes. Check the tire size of your drive tire. For a Mustang, well, this is obviously the rear wheels. If you have a front wheel drive car, you're going to want to input your front tire size. Once you have that information, you can now enter it into the form right here. Additional vehicle information can be entered here. Keep the information relevant to just the powertrain. If you've got a red strut tower brace, well, that's pretty cool, but we don't need that information for a tune. Before you submit the tune form, go back through the form and double check that all your information is correct. A typo in the email or a device serial number can delay you receiving your tune. If you're just looking for the SCT box tunes, your device may need to be updated. This is how. Use the link in the description to go to the SCT site to download the updater software. Everyone will need this software to upload the tune from your computer to the device. Install the program and open it up. Then use the USB cable to connect your tuner to your computer. The first button will be used to update the device. The second is used to upload the tune file to the device. Let the program update and you should get this pop-up saying the device has been updated. You may now unplug the device. Now when you go back to the vehicle and plug in the device, you have the options from SCT to tune your vehicle. Once you receive your custom tune in the email you provided, download it and save it on your desktop so it's easy to find when we upload it to the tuning device. Open the device updater. Plug in your device to the computer, then click on the second option, Load Custom Tune File. Hit Browse and navigate to where you save the custom tune file. Then Open. Make sure the tune file is selected, then you can click the arrows to add it to your device. Once you see the file move to On Device, click Program to upload the custom tune. This will take a minute or two. Just make sure your device doesn't disconnect during this time. Because we have a second tune, we're going to load that onto the device as well. The X4 is capable of storing up to 10 custom tunes, while the BDX, well, that's capable of storing 20 custom tunes. Once the tune is loaded, you can press back, exit out of the program, and disconnect your device from your computer. Back at the vehicle, you can now see under Program Vehicles, there are 2 tune files that we've just uploaded. Now in the future, if you make large changes to your vehicle, like going from a stock intake to the Steeda intake, you'll need to request a new tune. Use this portion to include the changes you have made or plan to make since the last time you filled out your tune form. Then continue with the rest of the form as you did the first time, making sure you include those necessary changes as you go. Once you fill out the form, submit it, and your revised tune will arrive in about 5 business days. All right, so we finally made it to the dyno room. We've got our 2020 Mustang. It's bone stock minus the Steeda X-pipe, but that X-pipe is gonna be on it for all the testing. So we've strapped it down. We're gonna get it up to operating temperature. Let's see what kind of power it makes. So we just got done making the first pull with this 2020 Mustang. We did in 6th gear because it has the automatic 10R80 transmission. First pull, 370 horsepower, 356 foot-pounds of torque. Now, we'll go ahead and flash the ECU, load that Steeda tune, and we'll see what she does. To upload the tune to the vehicle, select Program Vehicle and turn the key to the on position. Then, select the custom tune you would like to load. There are further options that can be adjusted, but in most applications, you can just leave these and hit approve. You can now adjust your tire sizes if changes have been made. You could also change your gear ratio here as well. This is a 10R80 PP1, so it has the factory 355 gears. If you want to adjust the TPMS settings, you can do that now also. Now hit continue and the tuning process will begin. You may be prompted to power the vehicle off and on, so pay attention to the directions on the device, otherwise it'll have to start this process all over. This process can take 15 to 20 minutes, so be patient. When it is finished, it will clear any codes and then you are good to go. All right, so we just loaded up the Steeda tune. This is for a stock Mustang, stock intake manifold. Power jumped up, 370 to 381. That's pretty good. And 356 foot-pounds to 365. And you'll see the first pull's in red. The blue is the second pull with the tune. It makes more power everywhere. The biggest thing is right here, from 2,000 to 4,000. That's when you're gonna spend the majority of your time running around town, stoplight to stoplight. You're looking at 30 foot-pounds of torque at about 2,400 RPM. That's incredible. That's 10% more foot-pounds of torque. So that's gonna leave you feeling really good down low. And even if you wind it out, not sure why we revved it to 8,000 RPMs. Jamie's kind of crazy. But it'll rev all the way to 8,000 RPMs, but more power everywhere, better fuel mileage, the ability to customize a tune later on down the road for future mods. That's why I always tell people you can't go wrong with an SCT tuner. Good results. Now we'll throw on the cold air intake. So here we have the cold air intake installed on the Mustang. Now there's the open air design. It's different than the closed lid. The closed lid we recommend for maximum performance. Why? Closed lid, ram air effect. This is great for all around daily drivers, right? People like to go to car shows and pop the hood. Nice, bright, reusable filter, power stack at the end, velocity stack. Now what's the velocity stack? That is a tapered cone that the filter bolts up to help funnel air in. What we're trying to do is we're trying to increase the velocity. It's also going to give you a much better signal for your mass air meter. The rotomolded tube is going to try and direct the air, get it up top before it's going to go down into the throttle body. We're trying to strain out the airflow. In theory, it's going to make more power. Well, there's only one way to check that theory, and let's make another pull on the dyno. All right, so we just added the Steeda intake. This is the open lid intake. Therefore, the mass air meter is gonna be physically larger. Anytime you do that, you're gonna need to retune the car. Well, thankfully, it's our cold air kit. So we took our Steeda tune for a stock intake and applied it to the Steeda tune with our intake. Same timing, fuel trims had to be changed, right? Larger mass air meter, we're letting in more air, nice smooth radius on the tube. So the fuel trims changed, timing stayed the same. And it's ridiculous. We went from 381 to 397. That's a 16 horsepower difference. Oh, it's the tune. No, it made 381 with the tune from 370. So for everybody that says cold air intakes don't work, they work. Proof is in the pudding. So 397 from 381, and then an increase of about 7 foot-pounds of torque. The great part is if you look down here, once again, lower in the graph, it's just making more power absolutely everywhere. Now, where does it actually shine? We're pretty close down below, but as soon as those cam lobes start to change, right, and you start retarding those cams for the high RPM horsepower, look at how it just pulls away. Absolutely impressive. I mean, you're looking at cold air in a tune, and it just had 27 horsepower to the tires of an otherwise stock Mustang and about 16 foot-pounds of torque. So now what we're gonna do is, because E85 is so popular, we're unhook the car, drive it around, get that 93 octane out of there, then we're gonna throw in some pump E85, and then we're gonna strap it back down and shoot, let's see if we can get over 400 or how much horsepower we can get on E85. All right, this is absolute bananas, right? I always tell people, not every time you go to the dyno, do you get the numbers you're looking for. I want to make 450, the car makes 430. Sometimes it makes 460. That doesn't happen all the time. E85 in the tank now, right? Obviously the tune had to change a little bit with the E85. Same, everything. Picked up an additional 27 horsepower and 11 foot-pounds of torque. We're talking a 54 horsepower gain and 27 foot-pounds of torque. Tune, cold air intake, and E85. 54 horsepower. That is incredible. For under $1,000, I think it goes for like $960 or something. Absolutely unbelievable, real world numbers. Right here, same day, it's 91, 93 degrees in here. It is smoking hot. But to go from 370 horsepower to 424 on otherwise stock S550 Mustang, this is why we're begging, why tuning is so important, right? It's not only more timing, it's air fuel, it's shift points. Look at it, stock, we're redlining 6,800. Everybody knows the fun doesn't begin till after 75. Now it's revving out to 8. Okay, it doesn't need to. We don't have a Cobra jet on here. But look at the steam it's making up top. Cold air intake, tune, and E85. 54 horsepower? Absolutely unbelievable. Well, that wraps up our testing on this 2020 Mustang. As you saw, the tuning process isn't that hard, but it is gonna take about 15 minutes to download the file, re-upload the other file, but it's a great device. Not only can it add horsepower, save you fuel, but it also is a diagnostics tool for any of the cars that you have in your stable. If a check engine light comes up, you can read the code, you can clear the code, so it's a really, really good tool. Like I said, better performance, less fuel. I think SCT's motto is more power, less fuel. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it does absolutely work. So if you're looking to add a cold air kit or a tune to your vehicle, check out Steeda.com, where we've got cold air kits and tunes for just about any make and model Ford vehicle. Also, if you have a video in mind that you'd like to see us do, leave a comment below. Quite frankly, I was shocked this car made that kind of power with such simple, easy to do modifications. So hit like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and remember the most important thing, Steeda, where speed matters.